Following our previous video on roles and permissions, in this one we'll cover how to enable SSO login with your identity provider and map predefined groups to roles in Logfire. If you're bringing on new users regularly, this is the single biggest way to cut down your administrative work. Out of the box, Logfire ships with 3 sign-in options: email, Google OAuth, and GitHub. They're great for getting started, but most larger organizations already run an identity provider for SSO across their other services, and they'll want to connect it to Logfire too. So there's one controlled path for authentication. Logfire works with any OIDC compatible identity provider, such as Okta or Entra ID. Adding one is pretty quick. You give it a name, choose the provider type, and paste in 3 values from your provider: the client ID, the client secret, and the issuer URL. Logfire hands you back a redirect URI to register with your provider. And from then on, users are sent straight to your provider's login page. We won't walk through every provider's setup here, that's in the docs, but there are 2 things to get right on the provider side. First, make sure your groups are defined in your identity provider. And second, make sure group claims are enabled. That's what lets Logfire see a user's group assignments when they log in. Then verify it end to end. Back in Logfire's org settings, click your Test Your Connection button and click the Diagnostics button to see recent sign-ins. You're checking that the group claim is actually present. Once you've verified SSO login and group mappings are working, we advise disabling the default email, Google OAuth, and GitHub providers. That way, access to your org flows only through SSO. Here's where SSO configuration really pays off. Group mappings take the groups your provider already returns, such as an Okta group or an AD group, and assigns each user the right role automatically. No manual invites and no cleanup in Logfire settings when someone changes teams or leaves the company. Click the Groups button on your provider, and you map a group name to an organization role, such as admin, member, or guest. There's also a Restrict Login to Mapped Groups toggle. Turn it on, and only users in a mapped group can sign in through this provider. It's a clean way to lock access down to exactly the people you've accounted for in your identity provider's groups. You can also layer on project-level access. Say a group should be guests across the organization, but needs admin on one specific project. Add a project role assignment right here. Project roles are additive. They grant more on top of the org role, never less. Before we recap, a quick note on how you manage all of this. You've got 2 options: the UI workflow, which we've shown today, or for self-hosted deployments, your Helm charts YAML, where provider config and group mappings live right alongside the rest of your infrastructure and are under version control. Both reach the same result. So to recap the approach we recommend, first, connect your SSO provider. Second, set up group mappings at both the org and project level and restrict login to mapped groups. Third, disable the default providers so all authentication flows through SSO. And fourth, if you're self-hosted, consider managing providers and mappings in version control through your Helm chart. Next in this video series, we'll cover authentication and access control. See you there.